and this is very, very good value way of going racing in some pretty spectacular single-seater machinery. The cars set off now on their green flag formation lap. First opportunity for the day for the drivers to get a little bit of a sense of the track conditions, having raced early on in yesterday's race. So the F3 class is for Formula 3 chassis, equipped with a 2-litre engine, and then we have got the Mono 2000 class, which is for modern space frame chassis 2-litre cars, essentially converging around the Van Diemen Formula 4 car, but also some of the pre-Tatus Formula Renaults. And then we have got the Mono 2000 classic cars, which are for older Formula 3 cars, and also the Formula Vauxhall Lotus cars that you may recall from the late 80s and early 1990s. So it is a 15-minute race. We're on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit, so this is going to be dizzyingly quick. Pole position for Ben Cater was 44.590. He set earlier on today, and that is just 60 thousandths of a second up on Tony Bishop. Tony Bishop, if you joined us a little bit earlier on for our coverage of the F3 Cup, was going extremely well until it all went somewhat awry for him, going into Paddock Hill Bend, losing traction and pirouetting away his chances, but at least he knows the mistakes to avoid making. So there is the black car of Ben Cater, who rolls into pole position. Alongside him on the front row of the grid, Tony Bishop is going to be in the blue and fluorescent yellow car. Then Chris Hodgen, that is a red car with white along the side of it. For David Gillett in fourth place, well, he's got a blue car with a bright yellow nose cone. And the fifth place car of Richard Purcell is an all-white car with fluorescent yellow trim. It's not unlike the Brawn GP car from 2009 in terms of the livery. So waiting for the last couple of cars to roll into position, which they do now. The 5-second board has been shown to the drivers as they turn their eye towards the gantry. The red lights come on now, the revs rise. And away we go. It's a brilliant start from pole from Ben Cater, also well away for Tony Bishop. The second row of the grid pretty much away as one. A good start from Neil Harrison a little bit further back as they turn through Paddock Hill Bend. Everybody cleanly through, climbing up towards Druids, and Cater already has got the advantage over Bishop. Behind, plenty of squabbling position. Ross Giles just trying to have to hold off some of those around him. It's down towards Graham Hill Bend. Tony Bishop already got his mirrors full of Chris Hodgen and David Gillett as they sprint along the Cooper Straight, and a problem for David Gillett, slowing in car 18. He gets demoted by Richard Purcell. Now, was that just a misgear, or was that potentially something a little bit more significant? Well, he picks up the pace through Clark Curve, as now the race leader Ben Cater accelerating along the Brabham Straight to complete the first lap. Behind, plenty of battling position. That's actually Dibden, car 94, looking to make a little bit of ground as the pack turned down through Paddock Hill Bend for the second time. Ben Cater leads, Tony Bishop second, Chris Hodgen is third, Richard Purcell is fourth, with David Gillett in fifth, and then sixth place is Simon Tate, with Neil Harrison up into seventh position. Actually, Dibden has really been the driver who's lost out the most. He has slipped down into eighth position through the first lap. But of course, in these JMT Monoposto Championship races, traffic can start to be a factor a little bit later on. There is James Drew Williams in the JMT Technical Racing entered Lola. The Lola chassis, having had great success in the past in Monoposto Racing, in the hands of Robbie Watts. Got a good scrap as Neil Harrison looks to make ground in towards Paddock Hill Bend, and suspect that Harrison might have found a way past that occasion. Here we go then, and yes, he has. He's moved up clear of Simon Tate, and Simon Tate immediately into the clutches of Ashley Dibden and others. That was a brave move from Harrison. It's down outer Druids into the left-hander at Graham Hill Bend. This is really where the battling is. These cars very closely dicing away. Got the 22nd car of Rimmer, just clear of Chris Davison, trying to find a way past as well. as already Simon Tate is being forced into defensive mode once more. He's got Ashley Dibden trying to queue up behind him along the Brabham Straight. Not sure that Dibden is going to be quite close enough. Driver who's gained ground on that last lap is Chris Davison. He's moved up a position. And that is at the expense of James Rimmer. There is Davison. He's immediately onto terms with the Lola of James Drew Williams as they run down towards Graham Hill Bend. In and amongst the traffic already, that's Matt Jordan, who is about to go a lap down. Some great scrapping. Here is then the Drew Williams-Davison battle. They swoop through Surtees. They have still got Simon Tate doing everything he can to withstand the pressure of Ashley Dibden as they pick up outer clearways on to the Brabham Straight. We are just about 3.5 minutes into this one, so still very early stages, as now looking to line up for the move comes Chris Davison. He draws alongside James Drew Williams into Paddock Hill Bend. Will then look for the switchback. That's well defended from the Lola driver, and as Davison hesitated on the throttle, it brings James Rimmer back into the scrap as well. Meanwhile, Ross Giles trying to close up onto terms with Peter Venn, two of the stalwart competitors of the JMT Monoposto Championship. On the Cooper Straight, we are watching battle between James Drew Williams and 31 car Chris Davison. They are currently disputing 9th and 10th place. At the front of the field, it is Ben Cater who leads the way from Tony Bishop and Chris Hodgen. That leading trio reasonably well settled. We got a good scrap though between Richard Purcell and David Gillett. So there is the race leader, Ben Cater, second place man Tony Bishop, third place Chris Hodgen. Then this fight for fourth. And Purcell, the white and fluorescent yellow car, busy looking in his mirrors, seeing what David Gillett can do, and that what appeared to be a missed gear in the very early stages for David Gillett could prove to be critical, because not only has it cost him a place, but it's also, given the pace of the cars in front, also taken away his opportunity to really challenge for a podium. But Gillett looks like the move into Paddock Hill Bend and slides to the inside of Richard Purcell. Purcell's going to try and fight back as they climb out of Paddock Hill Bend, up Hailwood Hill. They almost draw alongside into Druids, but there's no way through for Purcell, and so they follow on the line of stern. Now the question being, of course, David Gillett released into some clear air. Can he do anything about Chris Hodgen in third place? He's got the best part of 2 seconds to make up to Chris Hodgen. Already he's easing away from Richard Purcell in the white number 29 car. Purcell has got a very comfortable advantage in turn over Simon Tate. So here comes David Gillett, his first released lap for quite some time. He sets a personal best lap of the race of 46.1. Problem for him being that's a couple of tenths of a second away from the pace of Chris Hodgen. Meanwhile, the fight for 6th and 7th place coming back together, because Neil Harrison is now being caught once more by Simon Tate. They brought Ashley Dibden and Chris Davison with them for company. We've got a car in trouble, unfortunately. That's James Rimmer, who has ground to a halt at the Exeter Druids, and that, not unsurprisingly, has brought out the safety car. So the safety car comes out, brings the race under control with just under 9 minutes left on the clock. So who is this going to play into the hands of? Well, you suspect it's probably good news for David Gillett, because he was the driver who really had a lot of ground to make up. It's also good news for Chris Hodgen, who was in a fairly remote third position. Tony Bishop's going to get another shot at Ben Cater. But what it does remove from us was the excellent scrapping that was going on a little bit lower down the order. Of course, a great shame for James Rimmer. So the order is Ben Cater leads the way. 2nd place is Tony Bishop. 3rd, Chris Hodgen. 4th, David Gillett. In 5th place, Richard Purcell. 6th is Neil Harrison. 7th is Simon Tate. 8th place is Ashley Dibden. 9th place is Chris Davison. Completing the top 10 is James Drew Williams. 11th place, Peter Venn. 12th, Ross Giles. 13th place, Kevin Otway. And 14th place is Chris Lord. Safety cars picked up a couple of the back markers to the head of the chain, so I suspect they'll probably get a wave through, which should probably happen after they've gone past the stricken car of James Rimmer. So what this safety car means, and particularly the timing of it, is that what was going to be a 50-minute race is going to turn into a fairly short and sweet sprint, probably only about 4 or 5 minutes when we do get racing. As you can see there, James Rimmer out of the car not been retrieved just yet. Rimmer racing in the 2002 specification, Dallara, from an era really right at the height of the British Formula 3 Championship, and it was very well supported by Formula 1 junior teams and boasted absolutely gigantic grids. Ben Cater, frustrated to be having to relinquish some of the advantage that he had been enjoying. Potentially good news for Tony Bishop, particularly as Bishop and Cater were so much closer in qualifying earlier on today than their pace in this race so far has suggested. The safety car remains out on track. We've got 6 minutes remaining. Just looking from the commentary box out towards Druids. See what the status of the recovery work is ongoing with James Rimmer's car. Looks as if that has possibly been completed, which is good news, because it means that once they're back into some sort of orderly line, then we'll be able to go racing. Let's have a look. Not quite completed, but nearly. Fear though, by the time we heard, well, let's see. Getting lights out on the safety car this time through. Certainly Ben Cater thinks so. He has backed out the pace completely. But the lights continue to flash on the safety car. The point at which they're going to go out would be through Surtees, and unfortunately for us, the lights remain on the safety car, so we're going to get another lap behind the safety car. Already the clock has ticked down to just 5 minutes remaining, so we're already at 2/3 race distance. And we're going to get one further lap behind the safety car. The last lap was 1.5 minutes, thereabouts. This one is going to be not dissimilar. By the time that Ben Cater crosses the start and finish line, there's going to be 4.5 minutes left in the race. So we are hurtling towards what's going to be something like a 3-minute and 4-lap sprint when we do get going. And for Cater, that means that the restart is going to be absolutely essential, because any ground gained in the restart is going to be very hard for his rivals to chase down. Any ground lost, of course, then you have the inverse effect, which is that he's not really going to have the opportunity to recover it. But the drivers will have now seen the incident involving James Rimmer has been cleared over at Druids, and that means that they will know that the safety car, more likely than not, is going to be coming in on this occasion. Again, Ben Cater, wise that the lights go out on the safety car, and now Cater backs the field up as they come out of Graham Hill Bend. There's the black car, the white helmet of Ben Cater behind him, the blue and fluorescent yellow car of Tony Bishop. Then we've got the red and white car of Chris Hodgem, David Gillett in 4th place. That is the blue and yellow entry. They are in qualifying order, as now Ben Cater looks to wind up the throttle as we get ready to go green. And this has been a beautifully managed restart from Ben Cater. He's going to have almost 1.5 seconds worth of an advantage over Tony Bishop as they flash through, but the move is the one for third, because David Gillett draws alongside Chris Hodgen into Paddock Hill Bend. Hodgen cuts the apex, they run downhill, climb up towards Druids. Gillett's still looking to challenge, but again, Hodgen's got all the track position and Gillett can't quite get the overlap through Druids. It means that he doesn't have the inside line for Graham Hill Bend. That means there is absolutely nothing that he can do. Finding a way past Chris Hodgen. Zip along the Cooper Straight, they swing left, then they swing right through Surtees. Run down out of Clark Curve through Clearways, and this is another good run here for David Gillett. He's right in the slipstream, tucked up behind Chris Hodgson. He goes to the high line, he draws alongside on the high line, he's going to challenge through Paddock Hill Bend. Again, Hodgson's got the car well placed, but Gillett might be able to ease to the inside, climbing to Druids. He can't do it on this occasion. The pair of them then turn through Druids. It was a good opportunity for David Gillett, but now that Hodgson has been able to withstand the pressure, he's just been able to buy himself a couple of car lengths as well. He's going to have to survive probably for 3 more laps with exactly 2 minutes left in the race. All the while Ben Cater leads. Second place Tony Bishop has been able to ease into a slight advantage as these cars have been busy battling over third position. But this time around, David Gillett is nowhere near as close to Chris Hodgson as he was on the previous occasion. 1 3/4 minutes reign in the race, so they will have time for 3 more laps, including the one that they're on. Climbing uphill towards Druids, and David Gillett just runs out a little bit wide, possibly pushing too hard, and this is always the challenge in these Formula 3 cars, is the G-forces are such that drive fatigue becomes an issue very quickly. That's a brilliant move from Ashley Dibden around the outside of Neil Harrison at Druids, and looking to follow him through as well is going to be Chris Davison. Davison makes the move stick on Harrison, who is now under real pressure as well from James Drew Williams. Drew Williams in the blue Lola looking to challenge, and he's able to jink to the inside of Neil Harrison as they arrive into clearways. Could be that Harrison's tyres have gone away from him because he's lost 3 positions in the blink of an eye, heading towards the final moments of this race. The last lap board is going to be shown to the race leaders next time around. Harrison looks to try and fight back at James Drew Williams. He can't do it as they climb uphill towards Druids. Through the hairpin they go. Here meanwhile is our race leader Ben Cater. The last lap board is ready for him on this occasion. I don't think he'd describe this as straightforward, Ben Cater, but nonetheless it has been a reasonably comfortable performance for him. He is just under a second clear of Tony Bishop, but Bishop hasn't really at any point in the race been able to get onto terms with him and really pressurise him into some sort of a mistake. But nonetheless, Bishop a little bit closer on this last lap through Graham Hill Bend. It's still going to require probably something out of Ben Cater's control to hand victory here to Tony Bishop. Bishop in second place though, follows him through Surtees. So we watch Tony Bishop as he arrives into clearways for the final time. This is the man he's been chasing, our pole sitter and about to be race winner, Ben Cater. It's been a masterful performance, and it is Ben Cater who takes the win in the JMT Monoposto F3 Mono 2000 and 2000 Classic class races. Brilliant performance from Ben Cater. He takes the win. Second place goes the way of Tony Bishop, and Chris Hodgson completes the podium. But Neil Harrison, his car continues to go away from him. He loses out to Peter Venn and almost Russ Giles at the line. In fact, he does lose out to Russ Giles by 55 thousandths of a second. As the rest of the pack come through and take the flag, it was a win for Ben Cater. Second place was Tony Bishop, third Chris Hodgson, fourth David Gillett, fifth Richard Purcell. In sixth place we had Simon Tate, seventh place Ashley Dibden, in eighth place was Chris Davison, ninth James Drew Williams, 10th Peter Venn, 11th Russ Giles, in 12th Neil Harrison, 13th place winning his class was Kevin Otway, in 14th place was Terry Clark, 15th place winning his class was Chris Lord, 17th place was Kevin Cooling, and completing the finishers was Matt Jordan in 18th position.
Congratulations. Nice win there. How was the race?
Oh, yeah, it was all right. I mean, yesterday, as you know, was a shocker. It was a truly horrible day. So it's nice to... First time I've ever done all the three with the pole position. I think we got the fastest lap as well and the race win as well. So if that's all true, then I'm happy, man.
Good. Go away happy in the sun shining, so that's all good. And don't drink that all at once.
I might share it with the kids.
Nice.
No, hang on a minute, you can't do that.
No, it's alcoholic. Well, it depends how old the kids are.
3.
Brilliant. Let's have a chat. Thank you so much. How was that for you? Position number 2, was it?
That's right, yeah. Well, I had to get something from this because it's been a bit of an iffy weekend, and Omicron have worked really hard to get the car sorted. We had an engine change and all that, and an oil leak, so they worked really hard. So I had to make sure I get something and not take too many chances today.
No, you should know. You should be proud with that.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank
well
you.
done. And last but not least, position number 3. How was it for you? You must be happy. You're on the podium.
It was good. Yeah, it was good. The car wasn't as good as it was yesterday. Didn't have the pace of the guys. It was only a shade different. Didn't quite have the pace of the guys, and I was quite settled in third. And then the safety car comes out. The guys all catch back up to you, and David Gillette had a couple of goes to try and get past me. And I thought if I can just get through Druids a couple of times, I knew I was quicker than through Druids, and I pulled that gap and I relaxed a bit. Tried to chase after the guys in front, and the pace wasn't there for me today.
Well, not to worry. You're still here.
Good,
You're
good.
still on the podium. Exactly.
The car's in one piece.
Exactly, and so are you, and that's all good. So thank you very much.